The champagne flute slipped from my mother's hand, not in celebration, but in a gesture of pure, theatrical disgust, shattering on the polished hardwood floor of our family's Lake Tahoe vacation home, like the sound of my own heart breaking. The gathering of her country club friends, freezing into a silent, judgmental tableau as she pointed a perfectly manicured finger at me. Her voice a venomous hiss that cut through the cozy firelight. Look at her. Just look, she spat, my father turning away to stare out at the dark pines. My brother Chad snickering into his phone. 24 years old, and she brings a bartender to the New Year's Eve party. A man who smells of cheap whiskey and failure, while your sister. She gestured to my flawless sibling, Jessica, arm in arm with her fiancé, a third-generation Silicon Valley venture capitalist. Understands what it means to build a legacy, to wear the uniform of success. But you, Amelia, you will never wear a respectable uniform. You will never stand for anything of consequence. You are an embarrassment to this family's name, a chaotic, romantic little fool who will amount to nothing, absolutely nothing. And the man I loved, Kyle. The bartender with dreams of opening his own pub, the man I'd defended for a year against their sneers, released my hand as if it were on fire, muttering, "This is too heavy, Ames," and he walked out, leaving me alone in the center of that ring of contempt, my simple black dress feeling like a shroud, the tears a hot, humiliating flood I could not stop. My mother's final words landing like blows. If you choose that life, you are no longer welcome in this one. Do you understand? We will not finance your aimlessness. We will not introduce you to people who matter. You are on your own, and you will fail. And I stood there, drowning in the silence, the collective gaze of my parents' world confirming my worthlessness. And I did not run. I turned slowly, my heels clicking on the marble foyer, a hollow, lonely sound. And I walked out into the biting Nevada night, the cold air a shock that did nothing to numb the deeper freeze within. Got into my old Jeep Cherokee and drove, not knowing where, just away. Through the snow-dusted mountains, down into the vast, dark emptiness of the California Valley. The only thought a searing, silent scream in my mind. I will wear a uniform you cannot even conceive of, and you will see it from the outside looking in. The America that received my broken self was not the land of opportunity, but a sprawling monument to survival. My first stop was a friend's couch in Sacramento, a temporary haven that grew cold within 2 weeks as reality set in. My degree in sociology from UCLA was a worthless piece of paper in the face of rent and hunger. And I took the only job I could get, a graveyard shift stocking shelves at a cavernous, fluorescent, lit warehouse store. My hands growing rough from cardboard, my soul numbed by the beep of scanners and the endless aisles. The loneliness was a physical ache, a constant hollow in my chest, that the endless cups of bad break room coffee could not fill. I would call home sometimes, on birthdays, on holidays, my pathetic hope a stubborn weed, only to hear my mother's clipped, "Amelia, we're in the middle of dinner with Jessica and Robert. Can this wait?" And the wait was eternal, the silence after the click of void that swallowed me whole, the silent tears I cried in the bathroom stall at 3 a.m. The muffled sobs into a thin apartment pillow that smelled of other people's lives. These were my only rituals. My self-doubt a constant, gnawing companion, whispering that she was right. That I was built for nothing, destined for nowhere. That my dreams were the childish fantasies of a woman who couldn't see her own insignificance. But in the deepest, most secret part of me, that vow I'd made on the Tahoe highway began to crystallize, not with anger, but with a cold, hard resolve. I would not be defined by their dismissal. I would build a citadel of a life so unassailable that their scorn would simply bounce off its walls. And so my quiet campaign began. Every ignored call, Every memory of that shattered champagne flute, every condescending glance from a daytime manager, became a brick in a foundation only I could see. I used my meager earnings to enroll in a single night class at a community college. Introduction to Criminal Justice. The textbook, a door to a world of structure and consequence I desperately craved. My social life vanished. My world shrank to the warehouse, the classroom, and my tiny, bleak studio. My discipline was born of desperation, my patience forged in the fire of having no other choice. I saved every cent, ate rice and beans, dressed in thrift, store blazers for job interviews I never got, and watched, learned. Absorbed the gritty reality of a system I had never from my privileged perch been forced to see. And in that seeing, a path emerged, clear and daunting. I would join the United States Secret Service, not as a fantasy, but as a calculated goal. The ultimate uniform of silent authority, of dignified service, of protecting institutions rather than leeching from them. The path was ludicrously steep, a mountain of prerequisites I did not have, so I built a ladder. One rung at a time, I left the warehouse for a slightly better job, as a paralegal at a chaotic district attorney's office. The work brutal but educational. A front row seat to the justice system's machinery. I trained my body before dawn, running in the cold, dark mornings, pushing through pain and exhaustion, proving to myself I had the physical grit my mother denied me. I studied for the Treasury Enforcement Agent exam, with a singular focus that bordered on obsession. My apartment walls papered with study guides and constitutional amendments. The application process itself was a year-long gauntlet of polygraphs, background investigations that dug into the family who had disowned me, panel interviews, and agonizing waits, each step a test of my resolve. And when the thick envelope finally arrived, bearing the seal of the Department of Homeland Security, I opened it alone at my kitchen table, and the word CONDITIONLOFEROFEMPOAMNT blurred before my eyes, and I wept, not with joy, but with a profound, shuddering release. The girl they threw away had just been handed a key to a fortress. The training at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Georgia was a relentless storm designed to break and rebuild. And I embraced it. The firearms instruction, the defensive tactics, the endless academic drills on financial crime and protective intelligence. I thrived in the meritocracy of it, where my name, Amelia Clark, was just a name, and my performance was the only currency. I graduated not as the top, but as a solid, capable agent, and my first posting was to a field office in Phoenix, a world away from the glittering lakes and country clubs of my past. My career became a slow, steady ascent into the silent, serious world of financial investigations and protective details. I volunteered for every opportunity, worked every holiday, earned a reputation for meticulous, quiet competence. I moved from Phoenix to Chicago, then to a coveted spot in the Washington, D.C. field office, my life a testament to discipline and sacrifice. I spent years tracking complex money laundering schemes. My sociology degree, now an asset in understanding criminal networks. I stood on perimeter lines in the rain and cold, protecting principles with a vigilance that was my new religion. I earned promotions to senior special agent, then to assistant to the special agent in charge. My influence growing in the secure, windowless rooms where national security and financial integrity intertwined. And through it all, I maintained a silent, detached awareness of my family's world. Through the social media feeds I rarely checked. Jessica's picture, perfect life in Atherton, my father's retirement, my mother's relentless social climbing, now tinged with a strange, quiet desperation, as if the world she curated was somehow less satisfying than she'd promised. And I waited, not for a moment, but with the knowledge that time is the great revelator, and my life was now a fact, not a plea.